name is Jonas Worth. I'm the Director of Partnerships and Development at the You Can Play project. I've been here officially 2 years, and prior to that, I was a university head coach and administrator at various U Sports and NCAA institutions for about 15 years. And here at You Can Play project, I work primarily with all of our partners on making sports a little bit safer for LGBTQ plus fans, coaches, athletes, and the entire community. First and foremost, using professional athletes who believe in what we're doing to model positive behaviors for younger athletes is really crucial. But I think the biggest impact we can have is at the grassroots youth level. And so we work with leagues like the NHL, CFL, and various professional sports leagues on creating, safer spaces, more inclusive language, in professional locker rooms so that that behavior is then modeled and trickles down to the future athletes who might become professional athletes themselves, university athletes, or who might become coaches or fans. And we want that behavior to be the new normal when you are, experiencing any type of sport experience. Well, it starts with fostering an inclusive climate. You want an athlete or coach or a fan to be able to bring their true self to the sport experience, and that is something that can actually start with language, right? Or setting the tone with, locker room culture that starts around respect. If you start with respect, that's a very easy rule to follow, and then follow it up with accountability when occasionally people are going to make mistakes, and you want to be able to hold each other accountable. So that could be a teammate that holds you accountable, like, hey, we don't actually speak that way about our teammates here. Or it could be a coach, but it could even be fan to fan. We've all had sport experiences as fans that were, let's say, less than agreeable in terms of fostering an inclusive climate, and I think that in general fans want that as a part of their fan experience as well. There's a lot of debate around this right now, and some people will say, like, allyship looks like, seeing, members from outside the community either wearing a pride shirt or coming to a pride parade, and that is a great starting point. We still want to celebrate that, but the journey that allyship is, rather than being a noun and saying I am an ally, starts with simple actions that you can take every day. What are you doing behind the scenes to sort of understand the experiences of impacted communities who might have to face things that you don't have to face, right? If you may not know someone from the LGBTQ plus community, it doesn't mean you can, not understand what it might be like for them to face certain barriers to experiencing sport like you do. And so, doing your own, learning different vocabulary, maybe looking at, stories that are amplified on social media and then sharing them yourself, and then centering the affected, right? Using your own mediums, your own power, your own privilege to kind of center those stories and amplify them can really bring a lot of attention to a community that sometimes people don't really pay enough attention to. And I think, in your journey as an ally, by making it about that affected community, you can actually have more impact, by using that power and privilege that you have. You have to be authentic about it. That's the key thing. Consistent commitment, not just during the Pride Parade every year, not just on a Pride night. Those are celebrations of what you do the rest of the year. If you are authentic in actually trying to engage, the entire LGBTQ community, not just one segment of it, and you're trying to create true relationships with the community, and your efforts are consistent year round, And maybe sometimes you don't even talk about them publicly, but you just continue to try and engage that community, integrate them into the experience. Maybe even involve the members of the LGBTQ community in your programming, to try to create safer spaces for that community. It can be truly effective. And so we talk about consistent commitment a lot, and we talk about authenticity. Those are the best pieces of advice I can give to anyone trying to avoid that sort of token check a box. And even in your hiring processes, right? If you are going to hire someone from an underrepresented community in your organization, do more than just the hiring part. That's the beginning. Open the door and then provide them with the tools and the mentorship and sort of access to decision making so that they can become successful within your organization and have a greater impact from within. In terms of media, the organizations that really get it do a fantastic job. And I'll use an example from last night. Sportsnet, for example, did an incredible job on a national broadcast of the Vancouver Canucks Pride Night, where they talked consistently about why we were having a Pride Night. They talked about what you could do to take part and share messaging. And they truly understand that this is, it's not just a hockey game on a single night. It's really about creating an environment where every community can feel welcome in a hockey space, whether that is going to an NHL game or simply being a fan on social media, and what that feels like. And so their consistent messaging was really well done. And I think those media organizations that take the time to understand that are the ones that honestly, they have a greater impact. And I think they increase the engagement that they have with the fans they're trying to attract as well, right? They're trying to open up the sport experience to everyone. And that can never be a negative thing. And so when you look at organizations like that who do it authentically, and increase engagement simply by using inclusive language on a consistent basis, it can be really impactful and positive. Authentic. It's very easy to access resources to enable you to do a Pride Night or to do some sort of inclusive programs, but authenticity is the name of the game. What I would say is amplifying stories of and focusing on stories of members from the community, from any underrepresented community, or different communities that have faced different barriers into participating in sport. I would say center the affected. Yeah, let's amplify those stories of people who have been able to break through those barriers and have success, whether it's as an athlete, maybe it's as a professional sports agent, maybe it's as a club executive. There are a lot of untold stories out there, that are not only worth telling, but make great storytelling pieces. And I think, as we amplify those stories and definitely center the affected communities, you're also doing a great job of making people understand that, even if you can't see it, even if you can't see racism, sexism, homophobia, it exists out there. And by telling these stories, we can get a better understanding of how to break down those barriers.